Making $37,000 on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing with one book sounds amazing, but I made so many mistakes that costed me so much more than that. Here's what I would do differently in this video. This video is designed to help you get ahead. My name is Jenny Hansen Lane. I've published 600 books on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. 400 of those are lined notebooks and journals. I've been able to cross $121,000 in sales at the time of this video. That's actual royalties that went into my bank account. Let's dive into the importance of protecting your books. You guys have seen some of my copyright videos. If you haven't, I will link it in the description of this video. The most important thing that I want you to think about when you have a book on Amazon KDP is protecting it. A lot of you have called me a broken record because I've been talking about copyright over and over and over again because it was a mess that turned into my message. It was my pain that turned into purpose. If I can solve that problem for you, I'm here for it. The second part of this is once you have a book that is selling, even 1 or 2 organic sales, that is your clue to follow all the success. Success always leaves clues. So when you have a book that is selling, I want you to think about if I could create a twin sister or a twin brother or a sibling for this book, what would it look like? Now, if you're publishing low content, that means it has repeated pages. There is always a market for a complement book for repeated page book. When you have a lined journal, the sister book to that, brother book, the sibling could be a prompted journal for that type of customer base and that customer looking, okay? Once you have that lined journal and you know that it's selling, which means people actually do judge a book by its cover, you want to build out a book brand. And the way that I like to explain this is when you walk into a store, into a bookstore, you're going into a particular department or genre. In that genre, you're giving so many options of different types of books to buy. I want you to be able to be your own Barnes & Noble, be your own Amazon KDP. And so when you have that first book that sells, I want you to lean into that and think about what is the next book that I can offer this customer that is a complement to what is already selling. Now, if you've seen my book hierarchy, we talk about going up the rung, that low content publishing is the best way to get started because you have that brain switch in your mind, right? That's why I created the Bookish Blueprint, bookishblueprint.com, where I show you how I created a book and I give you the template and the content to actually upload your first book on Amazon. We have to go through that step because it's like the same thing as like making a social media post for the first time. Once you get through that, you're going to get more familiar and feel more comfortable publishing. Now, a really important thing that I didn't do was use a different name, right? When you have a pen name, you can be creative. You can think of an ancestor's name. You can think of a child's name. You never not got to name your child. You could name it after your favorite vehicle in high school. Well, actually, be careful that that's not trademarked, right? You think of something unique and you practice under that pen name. If you go to my name on Amazon KDP, you see all this random stuff that I was practicing because I truly didn't understand the power of a pen name, okay? So that is an important step. When one book sells, you want to build out a brand, okay? So a lot of people ask this question. If they have a book that sells under their secret practice pen name and they want to build out a brand name, what can they do? Because you own the copyright of your book, you can simply repurpose that content. Move around the pages, think of other unique ways to position it. But if that book made you sales, lean into those similar keywords that you used for your subtitle, your title, your series, if it is a series, and then your book description and the back end keywords, okay? You're going to use that and upload a new book with a pen name that matches the customer base that you want to serve, right? So like Barnes & Noble has their own name. Maybe it's like Jubilee Jenny Press, right? And it's like all these really happy books for happy people like you. And so in this Jubilee Jenny Press, we would put a low content book with a beautiful cover. We'd put a prompted journal. And then if we were really leaning into that Jubilee Joy Jenny, We would do a word search about Jubilee and Joy. We would do a maze book. We would do an activity book. Or we would do all three, a 3-in-1 book. Okay, so there's so many ways for you to think about pushing that further with your brand. Now, the beginning of this video, we talked about what I would do differently when I had that first book that made that $37,000. I would protect the copyright on it more professionally, and I would have figured out a way to put it in a series so other people wouldn't be able to use that keyword, and so I could own a more professional, formal brand on Amazon. Now, the great thing about self-publishing is like we have this skill set to do it again and again and again and again and again. So when I say what I would do differently, I've already kind of been doing those things in different ways, right? I just shared my book catalog strategy with you where it allows you to make more money because someone comes into your digital books shop on Amazon and they see you offer more than just one book. So they actually can leave with more. We call this the average cart value. We want to increase the average cart value of our customer by offering them more of the same thing. Whenever I go grocery shopping, it's the same thing. Like if I can get strawberries in bulk versus one package, I'm going to buy the case, right? I'm going to make jam. We're going to eat them all summer with my kids. Okay. So when you are thinking about publishing on Amazon, think about protecting the brand, but also prioritizing that sooner than later. When you do that, you're able to actually move the needle in your business, in your book self-publishing business or your side hustle, whatever you've decided it to be. That is what I want to leave with you, is just understanding that you have the power to protect your book. So I don't want you guys to be scared to not publish. Let me know what questions you have about building out a book brand and even having a pen name to increase those profits. Here's a video that YouTube suggests for you, and I'll see you in the next one.